Pat from Boston says, I'd like to come off cholesterol medication. What can I use in its place? I have listened to your program for many years and use your products. I miss your dad. Sad face. Yep, we all do. I'd like to come off of cholesterol medication. What can I use in its place?
Yeah, I mean, again, the most direct answer, can we just do red yeast rice and bergamot? Potentially. There's a lot of questions that would need to be answered in between that phase. In the most ideal sense, you catch somebody like at the beginning. Their doctor's like iffy on it. You know, the new school way of putting somebody on a cholesterol med was maybe a lot different than 20 years ago.
Right.
Or, you know, when my dad was first doing consults and, you know, just swapping out Lipitor for red yeast rice and things like that. They, like Dante's explained in other shows, they're getting a score based on your family history. Are you a smoker or not? Blood sugar, are you diabetic or not? There's so many things, high blood pressure. All these things are going into this score that, you know, not necessarily just your cholesterol number.
Right.
So if she kind of got diagnosed, you know, 15 years ago, you know, her overall score is fine, maybe 10 years ago, and her number was just a little high, maybe a little more of an old school approach. Your LDL is a little high. We throw you on this 10 milligrams of Lipitor. Yeah, then I think we could do that. But if she's, you know, got a family history and she's very overweight and all these things, and it's been 15 or 20 years and her score is pretty high, she smoked till she was 40, et cetera, and all those things can come into play. If you start adding those factors in, then it becomes harder. You know, I wish it was as simple as just numbers are a little high, and at times it can be, you know, depending on what your doctor's approach was or where you started. But ideally, you kind of catch somebody right at the beginning. Like my doctor's kind of like, he's nudging me to start a stat, and I kind of shoot him away. I went to see him the next year. He was kind of nudged me again, but he's not really pushing me hard. What can I do to kind of shut him up, so to say?
Right.
Get my number down a little bit, and everything else is okay. Yes, red yeast rice, bergamot, one or both, depending on where you are, is a great option, you know. And then there's other people that just aren't going to take the statin. They've read this, they believe this, they're not taking it, and that's the end. They're either doing nothing or they're going to do something and at least get that number down. And in that case, if that's the decision you've made, then at that point, it's better than doing nothing.
Yeah. So red yeast rice, bergamot, and then beyond that, exercise, weight loss, blood sugar control.
Absolutely. Yeah, making sure all those things, being on the proper weight, is going to help your blood sugar and your diabetic risk. That's going to affect that score. It's going to affect your blood pressure. That's going to affect the score. That things you can't do anything about are obviously family history.
Right. And stop smoking.
Yes.
For the love of all that is good and holy, please stop smoking right now.
Yeah.
It's not going to do you well in the future.